Welcome to the Dance Studio Empire Podcast Business Series. This podcast is about building your studio empire, whatever that is for you, whether you're just getting started or striving to hit the elusive $1 million mark. This business series will give you the confidence and know-how you need to transform your studio and give you the business you've always wanted. So sit back and get ready to build your dance studio empire. Welcome back to the Dance Studio Empire podcast. Now, this is where we explore the world of dance studios and all things related to running a successful business. How has your week been? I hope it's been good. For us, we're into week 2 of the beginning of our dance season, and so far so good. Still can't complain. I thought today's episode is actually off the back of a conversation that I had with a parent in the waiting room this week, and as you may or may not know, I'm in my 30th year this year, so well and truly into it now, and this parent was actually asking me, it's all exciting with all the stuff around the studio that we're celebrating. We've got our t-shirts for the year, or the kids are wearing them proudly. The staff are wearing them proudly, which is great as well. And she actually said to me, what am I doing to celebrate the 30 years? And I'm like, oh, that's a really good point. I hadn't actually stopped to think about that, but we will. And the conversation sort of developed, and she was talking about, because she's a business owner as well, and she was saying, 30 years is such a long time. What are some of the changes you've seen? What are some of the biggest lessons that I've learned? And I thought that's a really good topic to talk about, because there are some pretty big topics that come from that question. What are my biggest lessons in the 30 years? And so I thought I would share them with you here, because this may be you coming up soon. Maybe you've surpassed it, I don't know. But I do want to start by saying I think it's really important to celebrate any milestone in your business. So whether it's 12 months, maybe you've done 1 year, maybe 5 years, 10, 20, 40, 60, wherever it gets to you, I think it's really important, because for several reasons. The fact that it's really great camaraderie. It's great for your community and your family within the studio, because you build such a hype and it's so exciting for them. And it's a little bit different to every other year. So making a big deal about it, you're able to do extra events that you might not normally do, that they do take a little bit more work for you, but it gets everyone so excited. It also gives you some good marketing options, like change up your marketing a little bit. So, you can talk about the old days and in the beginning and things like that, bringing back old students who, maybe came years ago. I had actually last week, I had a lady, a mum on Saturday actually come up, and she was holding her daughter on her hip. Her daughter was there to trial, and she looked at me. She said, "Do you remember me?" And I'm like looking at her, and I'm usually really good with faces and names from back then. Not so much now. The memory's not as good now, but back then, and I didn't even recognize her. And she said, "Oh, I'm Ali," and I said, "Wow, Ali Reed." Oh, yes. And I remembered her, and I remembered her mum's name and her brother and sister's name, and I asked after them. And so she was actually back with her daughter, and she said, I'm pretty sure, she was looking at my t-shirt, which says established in 93. And she said, I'm pretty sure 93 was the year I started. I'm like, that's crazy, So still now, they're still coming back and bringing their children, and like that's what it's all about, right? Like that's the legacy of what we're setting up. But anyway, so that's what I thought, really celebrating those milestones. I think it's important for everyone, including yourself. And so I'm going to make a big deal about celebrating for me and my family and those who have supported us for a long time as well. But anyway, let's move on to this week's podcast, which are my biggest lessons from 30 years in business. Okay, the first one is, no one is going to love your studio like you do. And this is a lesson that probably many studio owners learn quite quickly. your studio is your baby and no one's going to love it like you do. And so it really is up to you to maintain that love and passion for your studio, even through the ups and downs, which is hard. You have to be the biggest cheerleader for your studio, and that starts with loving it first, right? So now there will be ups and downs, and my secret around getting through those times is having either one person or a couple of people around you to support you at that time. That's probably the hardest part, particularly on those downs, is getting through those times if you don't have someone to support you. So if you are feeling really isolated and alone, I encourage you to try and find a support buddy, a business bestie, even if it's, your partner in life. If they can be supportive, they might not completely understand, but just have that support for you. But that's going to help you get through those times. So yeah, sorry to say it, but no one's going to love your studio like you do. But that's okay. You'll love it enough for everyone. Okay, number 2. Now, it doesn't matter how much you give, you are never going to make everyone happy. And again, this is like a really hard lesson to learn, but it's still really important nonetheless, because you can try your hardest to make everyone happy, but there's always going to be someone who's not satisfied. I mean, it's human nature. Everyone wants different things. So it doesn't matter how much you do, how much you give, it doesn't matter how many sequins you put on there or how good your high kicks are. There are people who aren't going to be satisfied with that, which is actually fine. And that's how you niche down and you get the right people in your studio. So it's not a bad thing. You just want to focus on providing the best experience possible, and then you just have to let the rest go. Now, when it comes to that providing the best experience possible, that also is that promise that you give to your families. So in your marketing, on your website, in your conversations, in your languaging, you're telling your parents of the future students of your business that this is what they're going to get when they walk through the doors. This is how they're going to feel. This is what's expected. And so then those people come through the door, they know what's coming, and so then they're going to be happy. It's the ones who aren't quite sure or come in with an expectation that isn't going to be met. They're the ones that are unhappy. So that also comes down to a little bit of you making sure that you're clear with who you are and what you offer. But it doesn't matter. As I said, you are never going to make everyone happy. And it really, really is okay. You just have to be able to let that go. Okay, the third one. Staff. Now, staff, your teachers, they are going to come and they're going to go, and it's okay. I totally understand how frustrating that can be and how stressful that can be. But staff turnover is just a normal part of any business, and dance studios are no exceptions. So I know the frustration is, particularly if you've got a great teacher who's moving on. And what I've learned over the years, when that happens, you just have to be really happy for them and know that you've just been a step in their journey, and you'll be a step in someone else's journey coming up. And I know it's hard, but everyone is replaceable, and we're all replaceable. I'm replaceable. I know we don't think they are. And I mean, when I lost my studio manager several years ago now, it was the biggest shock for me because it really came out of nowhere, and she'd been with me for 5 years, and she was really over a lot of the business, as in she was doing admin and she was communicating and she was teaching. So she was a big part of our business, and very quickly, within like a phone call, I knew she was leaving, and then I had not many weeks to find someone to replace her. And honestly, at that point, I'm like, how am I ever going to find someone who is doing everything she's doing, teaches the classes she teaches, is great with my kids, is great with the families. But guess what? I did. And she's fantastic, and she's still with us now. And so it was a good lesson for me too, just to remember that when staff do leave, they can be replaced. And then on the flip side of that, I did search for about 2 years for a ballet teacher, but just saying. But that's okay. I didn't give up. But what happened when I didn't find the ballet teacher that I was looking for? We just pivoted and we changed the timetable. It's like essentially the model of how we were running the business to accommodate that. So there's always ways, but yeah, I just wanted to say that about the teachers and the staff, especially at the moment. I'm seeing quite a lot of people online struggling to find teachers, and so I do get that. But it's really important to build a strong team and cultivate a positive work environment. But ultimately, people are just going to move on for various reasons. So just embrace that change and look at it as new opportunities of bringing new talent into your studio. New people in your studio are going to offer fresh ideas, fresh perspectives. It also may offer you some lessons for you as the business owner. Viewers, I have in the past had teachers come in and they're good, but they just haven't quite gelled, and that's fine. It was good lessons for me to remember when I'm interviewing. What am I really looking for? If I'm feeling it in my gut, which way am I going to go with that? So there are lessons as well to be learned with that. Okay, number 4 is your love for your studio will ebb and flow. Now, I mentioned this a little bit before on point 2, but yeah, this is the reality. There are going to be great times and there's going to be really challenging, hard times. There are going to be times when you are wanting to quit, sell, shut your doors, never talk to anyone again. I totally get that. But then there'll be the times when you're standing at the side of the stage watching your kids perform and you're like, oh my gosh, that's why I do it. It's fantastic. So know that when you come to those places where it is the challenge, you just have to keep coming back to your why. Why did you start? Why did you want to do it? What was that feeling originally when you decided you wanted to be a dance teacher or open a studio? What was that? That will usually help bring you back when it's hard and challenging at the time. But just remember, running a studio can be a roller coaster of emotions, and it's just important to remember why you started and that feeling that it gives you when you are in the great place, that feeling. So take yourself, whatever it is for you, whether it's standing in front of your babies just as they're singing out loud to you, or whether it's watching your senior students go for auditions and win competitions, or just even on stage, whatever it is for you, go to that place. It's going to help. When you lose that passion, just take a step back and refocus. Now, the other thing to do as well is surround yourself with like-minded people who can help bring you back. Now, this could be an accountability group. This could be friends within the industry. So there's a lot of great groups out there you can be part of. But it also might be a group outside of the industry, which is fine as well. Just find those people who are similar to you, and you'll be able to work off each other. So at times when they're feeling like they're struggling in their business, you'll be there to help build them up, and vice versa. These are the people that will just help bring the fire back into your heart. Okay, right, moving on. Number 5, the impact that you make may never fully be seen or known to you, but what you did and how you make your students feel, it shapes them into the adults they become into the future. Now, this is a big responsibility, and when early on, I don't think you realize the magnitude of the influence that you have on your students. And this can actually go either way. So this could be a positive influence or a negative influence. I really hope that your intention is to have a positive influence, and it's always good to check back in with yourself and make sure that that is what you are doing. But you won't know until later down the track, many, many years sometimes. And it can even be when those students are having their own children and they contact you, or you run into them at the shops, or their parents at the shops, and say things like, that those years where she was at the studio was what gave her the confidence to step into herself now and be confident. And they happen a lot. I have a favorite dance student in my career. Her name is Laura, and she has Down syndrome, and she still to this day has my heart forever. And I am Facebook friends with her mum, and her mum just really recently reached out and just said, I still can't thank you enough for those years where Laura was with you and the impact that it made in her life. And I am talking like way back at the beginning. I had Laura probably year two or three into my studio. So, and as I said, she just absolutely has my heart. And to hear that is really, it feels really good. It's nice. So know that you are making that. Think about the thousands of people and students that are coming through your doors over the years. There are so many. There are so many humans that you are impacting, and that's a huge responsibility. But you, as the studio owner, you need to know that you'll probably never be aware of the full impact you have on your students. But what you do, how you treat them, the memories you create are going to shape them into their becoming amazing adults. So embrace that responsibility and be proud of the role that you play in their lives. That's all I can say. And also, don't discard the impact that you have on some of the parents' lives as well. And I know everyone does struggle with parents now and then. We are super, super lucky with our parents. I even said it last weekend to my staff. I just we are so lucky how beautiful our parents are. But there's also times when I'm having conversations with them and they're able to vent, or they're struggling maybe even financially, and I'll say don't worry, you can fix that up next time, or wait for the paycheck, that's fine. And those little actions make such an impact on a parent as well. And so just remember that it doesn't just stop with the student, it does flow through to their family as well. All right, that's it. So just quickly recapping my biggest lessons in 30 years. First one is, no one is going to love your studio like you do. Second one is, it doesn't matter how much you give, you are never going to make everyone happy. Third one, staff are going to come and go, but it's really okay. So be okay with that. Number 4 is, the love for your studio will ebb and flow. You just need to keep coming back to your why and why you first started in the beginning. And number 5 is, the impact that you make may never be fully seen or known to you, but just know that it is huge in shaping your students into the future humans that they are going to become. All right, that's it for today's episode of Dance Studio Empire. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned a thing or two about running a successful studio. 30 years, that's pretty crazy. Now, don't forget, please share this with other people, other studio owners that it might help impact them, and like and subscribe. I'd be really grateful if you would do that as well. But until next time, keep on dancing, stay focused, have fun, but keep building that dance studio empire. Hey studio owner, if you are ready to have classes so full you need a waitlist, an incredible team who are exceptional with your dancers, or simply generate more revenue for your studio, then I want to invite you to join Dance Business Academy. Now, whether you are just getting started or striving to hit the elusive $1 million mark, Dance Business Academy will give you the confidence and know-how you need to transform your studio and build your dance studio empire. Just send me an email to info@danceteachercentral.com and I'll send you through the details.